Yes. Yes. Yes.
You're watching XETV, Fox 6 San Diego. Our transmitter is located on Mount San Antonio, Baja, California, serving San Diego and Tijuana. XETV Channel 6 transmits on an assigned frequency from 82 to 88 megahertz, transmitting 100,000 watts of video power and an audio signal of 20,000 watts, as authorized by the Secretary of Communication and Transportation of Mexico.
Está usted viendo XETV Fox 6 San Diego. Nuestro transmisor está localizado en Monte San Antonio, Baja California, sirviendo a San Diego y Tijuana. XETV Canal 6 transmite en una frecuencia asignada de 82 a 88 MHz, transmitiendo con una potencia de 100.000 watts de video y 20.000 watts de audio, tal y como fue autorizada por la Secretaría de Comunicaciones y Transportes de México.
The following program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
Please stand by for this important announcement. Live from Freehold, New Jersey, the home of the boss, Bruce Springsteen. I got two words for you: Hank and Jim.
Yes.
Oh, baby.
It's Hank. Call the FCC. Get every direction, find a car they've got. Ask them to clear the air.
Is the air clear?
Is the air clear? The air's kind of clear. I haven't smoked a cigar. Hello again, everybody.
Oh, yeah, it is. I appreciate that.
Welcome to the Pirate Radio Guy, Jim, episode number 9. And I wanted to hear this. Hold on a second. I got a message coming in.
Radio signal, Fallon. Do you know what that means, sir? You bet I know what it means. It's Hank. Call the FCC. Get every direction, find a car they've got. Ask them to clear the air.
They're going to clear the air just for Hank. Well, you know what? They got to clear the air for Hank and Jim because, as you can see, it is Hank and Jim right now on the Pirate Radio Guy podcast, episode number 9. A little more. I got a little more audio here to start. You can't start without this one.
Pirate Radio.
2016-20 WCPR.
Let me check my answering machine. I think I got a message, Jim.
Uh-oh.
This is the Federal Communications Commission. We've been listening to the nonsense you've been doing on the air. We know who you are. We're going to get you. I advise you to get off the air.
And that's correct. That was the Federal Communications Commission leaving a message.
Yes. It was nice of them.
It was very nice. A personalized message from the Federal Communications Commission. That was Judah Mansbach himself.
Yeah.
Verified. Judah Mansbach. he called Randall Ripley of 9FM, Stereo 9FM. He left a message on his machine and said exactly that. And actually, the complete message, which I used to have, I hope we can find it again. The complete message is, hello, Mr. Armstrong. This is the Federal Communications Commission. He says, hello, Mr. Armstrong.
He says hi to him.
He says, hi, hello, Mr. Armstrong. Because as it turned out, FCC agent Judah Mansbach and the sworn enemy to illegal broadcasters, unlicensed broadcasters, undocumented broadcasters. We were just undocumented, that's all. We were just a couple of undocumented broadcasters.
I know.
We didn't have a document.
We had no documentation.
Well, Judah Mansbach was the number one enemy.
Can I trouble you for a tissue?
Yes, of the undocumented broadcasters. You go on without a license, and Judah Mansbach makes it his life mission. Well, he tuned into stereo. You should have told me. I could have changed it. Orson, are you covering this, Orson?
He isn't thinking.
We all want to watch Jim do that, right? We all want to do that.
Of course.
Come on, fellas. You're losing your heads.
Get it together, Jim. Get it together.
I'm together. I'm as together as it gets.
Today is February 8th?
8th.
Because this is an exciting weekend, Jim.
Yes,
it was It's the end of the cycle of WCPR, our very first pirate radio station, which was located in Brooklyn, New York. WCPR, 50 years ago last night, got busted by the FCC. The Federal Communications came into the room, into the studio, into the bedroom studio, and said, turn the transmitter. Your station is over. It's finished. It's done. No more station.
Kaput.
You're off the air, boys. You're off the air, fellas.
Get the hell off the air.
So we're going to get into that in a moment. But for the people who are just joining in, or maybe you're just seeing this real quickly, that's what Jim and I are famous for. You know, you got to be, hopefully you can be famous if you want fame in your life. Some people want to remain anonymous, and that's very nice. But if you want to be famous, you got to be famous for something. And what we're famous for is operating the largest underground broadcast facilities. You said on the East Coast in the promos, but I think it was in the United States of America. And this is on the commercial band. I know that there are shortwave pirates. There are shortwave band pirates that have been out there longer than us. They had larger operations than us, maybe got a bigger signal than us, but that's the shortwave band. That's specialized.
Yes.
You and I did it on the commercial band, the band that Judah Mansbach cared about the most. When you get a message on your answering machine from the number one FCC agent, and he tells you this.
This is the Federal Communications Commission. We've been listening to the nonsense you've been doing on the air. We know who you are. We're going to get you. I advise you to get off the air.
He tells you right there, we're going to get you. Let's break down what he said.
He advised him to get off the air. All right.
First he says, hello, Mr. Armstrong. By name, that was Ed Armstrong, the operator of Stereo 9 FM, our friend Randall. Hello, Mr. Armstrong. Then he identifies himself. He doesn't say this is Judah Mansbach. He says this is the Federal Communications Commission.
He's representing the whole commission.
The whole thing. The entire Federal Communications Commission.
The kit and caboodle.
He says, we've been listening to the nonsense you've been doing on the air. We've been listening. He tells you. He's letting you know. Then what does he say? We know where you are.
He's got his phone number. He called him.
We know where you are. We're going to get you. And finally, I advise you to get off the air. It was 6 phrases, 6 individual phrases made up that 10-second.
At the end, he left with some advice.
He says, I advise you to get off the air. He didn't waste 1 second of that answering machine message.
No.
All right, and he meant it. But did Judah Mansbach, FCC agent, did he mean every word he said in that message?
Not only did he mean every word he said every word he meant.
I would hope so, Jim. I would hope so.
All right.
So,
I confused myself.
50 years ago, Jim, it's an anniversary. Now, what we've done in the past, since what? We started December 14th, right? Wasn't that the first time we went on? December 14th, was that the day?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I actually had to think about it for a second.
Yes.
Right.
December 14th.
That was the first test run.
That was the first test, and that's when we began the Pirate Radio Guy podcast. And basically, we've been living in real time, just week after week.
Yes.
Chugging along.
The days matched up 50 years later.
Right, even the day of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Friday night.
Time, too. Everything. The clock, everything.
The schedule of WCPR was Friday nights at 11:30 p.m. and Saturday nights at 11:30 p.m. And just a couple of nights ago, on Friday night, the show began 11:30 p.m. February 6th. The John Doe Show. That was me. I was John Doe.
Him, not me.
And the show began at 11:30 p.m. It was chugging along. I was the host. Jim was the co-host. We had a guest in the studio. His name was Patrick. He was an engineer. He was like an electrical engineer.
He was a whiz.
And he was
into electronics.
He had built our compressor, our audio processor that we were using.
Yeah.
And he had come down, and I believe I kind of remember him coming down with either an update or a newer version, or he had to go in and add a component.
Yes, it was updated. Something he did something to it. I don't remember what.
And there we were doing a show, and all of a sudden,
he may have brought it back. He may have taken it during the week because he
Right.
did come to my place. And
He
I remember-
came during the week
Yeah.
and took it away, and then he worked on it.
Yeah.
And then he was installing it, and I believe everything was working fine. He
was
was like, "Oh
working
yeah,
great.
it sounds good, sounds good." And he was hanging out. He was hanging out in the studio the way Jim and I are hanging out in the
And
studio
we
right
had-
now.
We had an old card table set up. That's what you had for your show, and you had microphone with a microphone stand. And he was also sitting. We had a couple of chairs. I was sitting by the mixer, which was a reel-to-reel machine, and
Yes.
you two guys were sitting on the card tables. And all right, I'm getting to the point. And and we were all talking. He was talking too, so it was interesting.
It was a great show. It was,
There's
it was
no
good.
check of this. We have no tape of this. No recording.
No, we didn't record this, and basically, the show was going along, and we were 8 or 9 weeks in, and we had settled down, and then you take it from here, Jim, because I was not facing the door, and I probably had headphones on, so I didn't even hear anybody if they did knock at the door.
Wait, I could make it a little more realistic.
How did it begin? Tell us.
It began. It began as soon as I could open this. I didn't realize I could do this. It began. Going along, we went into a song, and the song was "These Eyes" by the Guess Who.
That's
that was
right. I remember that.
And the front door. This happened. Well, it just replaced FBI with FCC. And my brother must have answered. So this is like 1:45 in the morning. Okay, the show is I don't know how long we went. What time did we go off? Like 3, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, whatever time we went.
The target was 3, I guess.
Yeah. So we're in the middle of the show, and so my brother knocks on the door, my door, my bedroom door, and he says,
They say you have a visitor, or you have
yes,
visitors.
He says you have a couple of visitors, and we both, me and Hank, both knew what that meant. Who could be visiting while the show is in progress? And I was facing the door. Hank was facing me, so opposite, and Patrick was in the middle, so he could see the door and me. So the door opens up, and it's the FCC. They have the badge. Jack Shadetsky from the FCC says, "We're from the FCC." And him and Alexander Zimny, who later became the head of the New York office. He may still be. I don't know. That was a long time ago.
I have no idea. That would be.
Yeah.
We'd have to look him up. We didn't look anybody up.
Oh.
We do know for a fact that Judah Mansbach has passed away.
Yes. So the thing was, as soon as they announced who they were, Hank Hayes was like this.
What was I doing? You were telling me the other day.
He's like,
my natural reaction to most things, including bad things, is to smile and try to suppress a laugh. It's a nervous
his
laugh.
shoulders went up and his head went down, and he was like,
I will just laugh. I become like Curly of the Three Stooges, and I just laugh and go crazy because I'm just, even if it's a stressful situation, like the time your cousin Billy attacked me in the hallway when he was beating me up. Do you remember this? For some reason, I think you and your cousin Billy were having an argument. He was mad at you, and I walked in to the middle. Completely innocent. I came out of the bathroom in your house, and I was walking from the bathroom to your bedroom door, and Billy was in the hallway, and all I said to him was, "Come on, get out of the way, huh?" And he pummeled me. Do you remember this?
Yes.
He pummeled me to the ground.
We always traded insults as a goof. When guys get close, they make fun of each other. They say things.
And I didn't even know that anything was going on in the first place. I was just trying to get into the room, get in the studio, and all I said was, "Come on, get out of the way, huh?" And he pummeled me to the ground. And I don't know if you remember, my reaction was the exact same reaction I had when the FCC came in. I started laughing uncontrollably. I couldn't fight back. I didn't punch him back. I didn't even try. I was trying to stop laughing. Not that he really hurt me, but it was just the same thing with the FCC. I am suppressing laughter.
Right. So,
And I remember that moment realizing, oh boy, when I saw the identification and I read it because he held it up to me. He says, "Can I see that?" And I saw Federal Communications Commission, and I was like, oh man.
And the look on Patrick's face was priceless. He was like, He says, not only is the station getting busted, but he had to be there. You know, he wasn't close friends with us. He was a close friend of Ed Armstrong, Randall Ripley.
Right, just his luck. He happened to be.
Yes, he happened to be there when it was happening, and so they the song was still playing, and then Alexander Zimny said to me, he said, "You can turn it off now." Now, I'm not thinking, I should have said, "No, you turn it off. It's illegal, right?" But I didn't. So
there's the first.
That would have been good if I
could
did
have
that.
opened the mic.
Yeah.
You could have turned off. You know what you could have done? It says, "Okay, I'll turn it off. Turn off the Guess Who."
Yes.
And bring up the microphone. You know, we weren't thinking. Like I said, we've been saying this all along. We were just very young kids, and we weren't thinking of broad. First of all, we didn't do this to get busted. I didn't do it to get busted by the FCC.
No,
right? You didn't either, right?
No, we were hoping that this was going to be a long run.
So when the FCC came, you know, it was a shock. If we had two brain cells to rub together, it might not have been as big a shock.
Right.
But if we had thought about it ahead of time, we might have said, you know, if they do come, why don't we keep the mic open? But, you know, anyway, that would have been for posterity. But he told you to turn it off. That's what he says to you?
Yeah.
You can turn it off now.
So I went over to the transmitter, which was a few feet away, you know, was behind Patrick. I hit the plate switch, which turns it off. And then they read, you know, well, they told us that you could be fined, you know, $1,500, subsequent, all that nonsense.
Is that what happened? He started saying, you know, what the story is?
Yeah, what the penalty is. He said, I think he must have mentioned that we're going to get a notification or a letter in the mail, and they said other things that I don't remember, but I remember one thing that Alexander Zimny said.
Yeah.
He says, "We don't ever want to come back here again."
little did he know.
Yeah.
Little did he know.
I think when he said that, I said, "You're coming back. Oh, you're coming back."
It's Hank. Call the FCC. Get every direction finder car they've got. Ask them to clear the air.
Now, I remember Patrick, you know, he had his hand like this. Oh,
Yeah.
geez. Because he didn't want to, because they took his name or they asked him for his name. They didn't ask for ID or anything.
No,
So he could have given a fake name.
he could have.
I should have said my name. You heard my name. John Doe. That's my name. John Doe. But, yeah, Patrick was like that. Did your brother stay in the room, or was
No.
it just you, me, Patrick, Jack Shadetsky, and Alexander Zimny?
Yes,
It was just us.
Yeah. The door might have remained open at the, you know, and they didn't stay very long.
No, I was going to say, they did not stay very long.
No.
They came in. They told us, you can turn it off now.
Yeah.
He told us about, you know, the violation and the potential fine. You can get 5 years in a prison, $10,000 fine. He gave, you know, he laid it out, and then they said, we don't want to come back here anymore.
Yeah.
And then they left. And they left me, you, and Patrick sitting there. You remember the first thing we did? I think I remember the very first thing we did. Called Randall.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
We called Randall. And we didn't even know Randall that long. But that just goes to show you. We'll get into that a little bit. The ramifications of WCPR. We didn't even know him that long. He's the first person we called. And, of course, Patrick is there saying, I was right here. I'm in the room. They got my name. I'm part of the bust. I'm on the record. I'm on the record. That's it. It's part of my permanent record. It's not going anywhere.
All right, my mistake.
All right. That's what we did.
And I guess after Patrick left, I don't remember what we did, but obviously we were reflecting and we were like shocked. 7 weeks. That's it. It's over.
That's the part that got me. I was like, damn, I had just, you know.
And we're starting to improve. You know, it was on the job training. We were not ready for this. We were not ready to be on
such a huge station.
It's like being says, all right, we want to start small. All right, you got a network show now. You're going to be, you know, heard. You're going to be seen and heard by, you know, it's like getting a network TV show when you just want a small show. You want to, you know, you want to get your feet wet. You know.
That's exactly what it's like.
It's like being told, says, hey, you want to take over for Johnny Carson? Yeah, all right. All of a sudden, you know, that's the position we were in, and we had to learn how to do it in front of
and we were
a big
learning
audience.
We were learning. I remember I was learning.
The shows were improving because we were
They
learning.
weren't, partially thanks to Randall. I mean,
Yeah.
I give him a lot of credit. He was
Yes,
he was
a lot of guidance.
a mentor.
No, my nose is still running.
Thank you. He was a mentor.
I'll catch it.
I give him a lot of credit.
Yes.
It's like we didn't get to play a complete game. It's like the game was called on account of rain, but in like the third inning.
Yeah.
3.5 innings of play.
And we
You're
were
like,
ahead.
oh,
We were
okay, I
winning.
know what we have to do now. I know what we have to do. We have to get on base, and we have to hit home runs. We have to score runs. We can do this. We can do this. And then all of a sudden, the thunderstorm comes in, and they said, the game's over. Like Earthquake during the World Series. Remember that one?
Yes.
But so that was since we started the podcast. We've done this in real time. This is as long as this podcast has been going. This is episode number 9, which I think is kind of funny. Thinking of Randall and 9 Stereo 9 FM. Episode 9 happens to be the bust, the very first Federal Communications bust. Jack Shadetsky and Alexander Zimny. Alexander Zimny went on to become, years later, the head of the New York field office. But when they busted us on WCPR on February 7th, 1976, the head of the field office was a gentleman named Henry Paulison, Paulisen. Henry Paulison. He was the head of the field office. And guess what? On our next big station that got busted, bust number 2 was WFAT. And who was the first person that walked in the same bedroom? Who walked in the bedroom studio?
The head of the New York office.
The head of the New York office. That's who comes. And who was behind him?
Who's behind him?
Judah Mansbach.
Judah Mansbach.
And Alexander Zimny was there, wasn't he? I think he was.
I think he was for a second visit.
Yep.
And
because I think Henry Paulson at one point said, "You remember this guy?
Yes. You
He
remember
may
Alex.
look familiar.
You remember Alex, right? You remember
Alex? And you should have said, Alex should have said, "I told you, I don't want to come back. You made me come back."
And again, we were semi-prepared to record what was going on. We like we said, first we were going to try to take the transmitter out of the bedroom and put it outside of the, behind the wall. But we realized we didn't have enough time, and it was very heavy, 120 pounds. So I says, all right, so I took one tube out and hit it.
Right, as if
We
to
cut the
tried to
antenna.
say, I know what you were thinking.
Yeah.
You make it look like it's inoperable.
Right, but that's just not, we can't. So I put on 66 WNBC on the radio.
Yes, and that's what's on the tape.
And the microphone was up, but I forgot to turn down the volume on the radio station that we were listening to. So the tape is rolling. I'm thinking we're recording this.
Yes, that's in the bus number 2, WFAT, like Jim was saying.
Semi-prepared. I says, we got to record this. I think you might have said, record it, throw it to record. Meanwhile, we got music playing in the background because just on the odd chance that we can deny it, we had this little thing in our heads that, well, at least I did, that we might be able to get away with it. But, so we had music on like we're
Well,
just
you were
hanging
panicking,
out.
Jim. You were panicking. You
Yes.
we were like a couple of burglars in the bank vault. All right, we broke into the bank. We're in the
And
vault.
the alarms are going off.
We're stuffing the money. The money is stuffed into the bag, into the duffel bags from the vault. And now the cops are coming in. And you're inside the vault, and you're thinking, well, I know what I'll do. I'll put this dollar bill over here, and they'll never know that it's me. You're in the vault. Mm-hmm. You were panicking. I really was sitting back. I have to say, I was watching you panic. So you were scrambling and panicking. Oh, I'll pull a tube out. Oh, I'll do this. I got the antenna. Oh, I'll do this. Wait.
Well,
And then I saw that reel-to-reel. I saw that Sony TC377, and I went, and there was a nice reel of tape on it.
Yeah, it was nice and long.
A nice reel of tape. It doesn't matter what's on that tape. It was probably just our music tape. So I said, can you record it? Can you record on that tape? And you're like, yes, I'll put a microphone on. I'll put it record. And it's just rolling.
Well, we were actually recording the show. We used to record them. So,
yes.
So it's the same reel. So
Even better.
Yes, I just threw it into record.
Throw it into record, but then you see you made one error.
Yes.
You put music on. You put a radio station on the background. You would put that radio to try to say we're not doing it. We're listening to the radio.
Yeah.
That's where the panic ruined it. If you had not turned on 66 WNBC, we would have had that tape because remember, but here's the key. While this bust was taking place, like you just said, in both of our minds, that tape is rolling. Oh, this is being recorded.
We're getting everything.
Everything they're saying. The argument I'm having with Judah Mansbach.
Yes, he started arguing, and Judah was raising his voice. He was raising his voice.
He's yelling at me, pointing at me, telling me how wrong I am. I don't have the right, this, that, and the other. And in my mind, I'm going, oh, this is gold. This is all on tape. It's all on tape. And on the WFAT bus, which we're talking about, excuse me, it wasn't short like CPR. They were in the house. It seemed to me like the better part of an hour.
Yeah.
And
they even went out to talk to my parents.
Yeah, they went out. And then they came back. So they were there a long time.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, oh, this is on tape. This is going to be great. And then when they left, and the dust settled, and your parents are yelling and mad and everything, and then the two of us go, okay. And I see you rewind that reel. We're rewinding. We're not happy. But we're anticipating, all of that was on tape. All of that was on tape. Nope, it was not to be. It was on tape, but you can barely tell what anybody's saying because of the fantastic playlist. Whatever the playlist of April 19th, 1979, or whatever date that was, on 66 WNBC.
Yeah, it was. I think it was the 14th.
April 14th, 1979.
Going into the 15th.
Not the greatest music in April 14th, 1979, on 66 WNBC. But... So we put the tape in play, and hopefully we're going to hear the argument, and we're going to hear Henry Paulison telling you have a very nice radio station. Why don't you boys get licenses, and you could go on the CB. You could talk on the CB. Remember he was saying that?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be good. Unfortunately, only Jim and I, and that tape still exists, only Jim and I can know what's going on, because you hear music, and then you just hear, it sounds like people talking, murmuring at a party. But listen, that's the way it goes. You gotta, Jim, one thing I've learned in my many, many decades on this planet is the best thing to do. And I wish you would learn this. I hope you learned it somewhat. Is you gotta take it like it comes. You gotta take life like it comes, Gymnasium. That's what you gotta do. Take life like it comes. That's how it went. That's how it came. That's how you take it, Gymnasium. You understand?
There's nothing wrong with this radio, and there's nothing wrong with the other radio either. There's something wrong with you.
You take it as it comes. If Bill Bonds is yelling at you in the middle of the night, you're trying to make $28. You want to go home with $28 just so you could pay your telephone bill. And Bill Bonds is screaming and hollering at you because you're an idiot. You got to just smile and take it like it comes.
Oh, shut up, damn it.
All right? That's what you got to do, Jim. So that's the way it was. With WCPR, we didn't think of staying on the air and broadcasting the live bust. It just wasn't part of our universe. And with WFAT, the same thing. The same thing. Even though we knew they could come, we knew they were after us. We just didn't think, we should broadcast live. We should be on the air live. We weren't radical enough like that. Mm-hmm. And then when we tried to do the one thing, look, the tape is there. Get them on tape. Open the mic.
Yeah.
And accidentally, you record a great air check. It's an air check. It's part of your air check collection. Should label it 66 WNBC, April 14th, 1979. What a great night of radio. Mm-hmm. And in the background, you hear people talking. And you and I know that it's you, me, Henry Paulison, Judah Mansbach. But nobody else would know. But you know what? That's life, Jim. But think about this, what I just said. This is an interesting thing. We did radical things, okay? Being on the air, broadcasting to 17 states, 2 Canadian provinces, 2 time zones. That's kind of radical. From a Coney Island bedroom in a New York City housing project, okay, Gymnasium? A New York City housing project. That's kind of radical, I think you would admit. Would you think? Would you agree that's radical?
Yes.
So did Orson.
But we're not radicals insofar as I'm thinking of, let's say, WBAI. I don't know if you remember this, but you and I were about 10, 11, 12 years old, and the DJs at WBAI, which was Pacifica Radio in New York City, public radio, I mean, very ultra left-wing, radical radio, legal, though. Do you remember they took over the station? Do you remember this?
Yes,
Lynn Samuels was one of the DJs.
I think, didn't it have to do with the George Carlin 7 words.
We'd have to look it up. I'd have to Google it. I just remember reading every day. They covered it on the news. It seemed to me it lasted 3 or 4 days. Who knows? It lasted a period of time where the DJs took over the radio station. They barricaded themselves in the studio. They weren't letting anybody in, and it was a marathon, broadcast. Now, those are the radicals. We're not like them, so when we know the FCC's coming, even as they're running up the stairs, because if Lynn Samuels was there, you know what she would have said. And I worked with Lynn Samuels. I want you to know. I worked with Lynn Samuels at WABC. But Lynn Samuels would have said, "Don't you dare turn that transmitter off, Jim. Open that mic, Hank. You're going to broadcast, and don't even let them in. Just keep the mic on as they're banging on the door. And we're going to barricade the door. Pick up the bed, Jim. Get the bed that's in every one of your radio stations. Put the bed against the door. Put the box spring. Put the box spring first." That's what Lynn Samuels would have said. But we didn't have that gene. We just want to have a good time, right? Isn't that really what it's about?
Yeah.
We just want to have a good time. So we got to break some federal laws. Say, you got to risk going to jail at $10,000 a fine. Hey, it's all worth a good time, right?
Yeah.
But a little bit more. If we had a little bit more of the radical spirit, or even Patrick on CPR. He wasn't a radical. He was a very laid-back guy. He probably wanted to go home and smoke some pot,
Yeah.
Wanted to go home, smoke some pot, have a good time with his friends. If we just had a little bit more of the radical spirit, it would have been headlines. Of course, we could never be on again. I mean, we would never be able to do it again. If we had gone out in a big way on CPR, I don't think we could have come back as FAT or anything like that. If we had kept it on the air and we made the news and the parent, they're banging, they're getting a sledgehammer, your brother's breaking down the door. He's like, "Come on, open up, open the door." That's what would have been happening. So things would have changed. We probably wouldn't have had 9 or 10 big giant stations after that.
Right.
It would have been a big ending, including FAT. It would have been a huge ending, but it would have been a spectacular ending. Like fireworks, the bigger the explosion, the bigger the whatever you call that.
Like at the end of the movie in White Heat.
Oh, White Heat. Well, here we go. White Heat right here.
Radio signal, Fallon. Do you know what that means, sir? You bet I know what it means. It's Hank. Call the FCC. Get every direction, find a car they've got. Ask them to clear the air.
Now that's a big ending.
Yes.
That's how we could have gone out. We could have gone out on top of the world, Ma.
Made it, Ma.
Top of the world.
Yeah.
But we still had a good time, and we still, had the FCC coming after us like crazy. But 50 years ago, congratulations, happy anniversary, Jim.
Yeah, happy anniversary.
I tell you.
And the funny thing is, back then, would we think that 50 years later we'd be discussing it?
No,
No.
Probably not. Well, discussing it maybe, but there was no way. That brings up another point. So here we were, teenagers. Let's see. When we were first busted, I was 15. I was 15 when Jack Shadetsky and Alexander Zimny came in, and your brother said, "We have visitors," right? And you were 18. So, and I've asked you this before on the Pirate Radio Guy podcast. I've asked you this before. Because it's interesting to the casual observer. They'd be saying, "Well, let's see now. These kids are crazy. These kids are crazy. They got a radio station, in the bedroom, and the parents and everybody's getting mad at them. They're getting in trouble. Everything. They could go to jail. $5,000, $10,000 a fine, 2 years in a prison. I mean, so why were you doing this? Did you have a goal in mind to actually have a career in radio?
I didn't.
So why were you doing it? So I'm going to ask you right now. You're on the spot, Jim. Why did you do this?
This is On the Spot with Hank Hayes.
For what? Why?
Because I wanted to. It was fun.
All right, but there's a lot of things you want to do.
I felt that we can do something that's different, but yet it is based on we wanted to play music. We didn't want the restrictions that commercial radio had, and we wanted to also talk to people, give out a phone number and have them call in between the music. So we had like a format. I says, this could probably be very interesting. People might be attracted to something like this. And they were. Phones always rang. Well, figure of speech. And we always got calls in between the music. And it was fun. And
there's a lot of things that are fun.
Yeah, we felt that it was...
Robbing a bank could be fun.
Yeah, that's true. But we felt like we were filling a little gap here, a gap that was missing in radio.
I'm with you there. That's one of the reasons I did this, aside from the fun.
And radio was changing back then, and it became more and more restrictive in many ways. There were less craziness. There was less craziness, less crazy DJs, and there were a lot of talk shows at that time. And while they were, a lot of them were interesting, this is why don't we combine music? Pop music with the talk shows, with the talk show part of it, but we don't have to be radical with the talk. Just having a good time. That's all.
Right. Well, no, we were radicals, but we were a different kind of radical.
Yeah.
We don't want to take down the government. We don't want to destroy the United States of America.
No, we didn't want to do that.
We wanted to have a good time.
Yeah.
And yes, as far as personally, my activism. Because Activision hadn't come out yet. That would be years later. Video game. My activism stemmed from filling a need. Mm-hmm. We didn't like the change that was taking place. Changes in radio. It was becoming less and less local, less and less serving what we felt was the people. And so we did try to fill that need. But where else you could fill that need is when you graduate and go out into the real world and go into the radio business and say, hey, I have an idea to program a station and show everybody that this is how it should be and fill the need for real. Mm-hmm. And I've wanted to do it so badly that I spent money on it and put radio stations in my bedroom, and I had the wrath of my parents, and I had federal agents coming to my house to break down the door, and so I felt so strongly about it, but you didn't really want to go and do it for real.
No.
Are you saying that?
Yeah, I really didn't have a desire to do it for real.
So you wanted to be able to do it in your bedroom forever? Which is basically, I have to say...
Not necessarily the bedroom, but, I don't know how long I would have wanted to do it, though. There might have been a time when I said, well, I'm going to move along. I did it. It was good while it lasted, while I was doing it. I didn't look that far ahead. I was thinking of the present. And at the present, it seemed like the right thing to do. And there was something about it that was...
Well, he said, I'll do it. I'll do it. This is what would have to happen.
Not only do I want to do it, but I can do it.
So you shall do it. You can do it. You shall do it.
That's right.
Yes, hello. His name is Johnny, but we knew him as Johnny, me boy.
But don't forget, Dave, Jim is here.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. And the thing was, now that we were doing it, we were going to make it better. Improve the technology of the day. By the second station, WFAT, we did learn a lot, and we knew about audio processing. So now we're a pirate with good audio processing, which is unheard of. And the sound is getting better, and it's still on AM, but it sounded good. And technically, it was good. There were very few problems. It was just... And it was only going and then as we went along with other pirates, it just got better and better. And, using innovative things that either weren't tried before and ended up, people started doing it in real broadcasting, because we did that as we went on in our pirate radio career, I guess. But I felt that we can contribute something on the technical end to make it more interesting and more fun. And we did along the way. It started with WCPR, and
yes.
And we had one jingle, made one jingle. I says, all right, that's nice. But maybe you can take it from here, but you know.
Well,
what I'm
no, I know
trying
what
to
you're
say.
saying because I mean, we certainly you proved that it could be done, and you proved that you could do it. And I was there with you, so we proved that it could be done. We proved that we could do it. There's no question about
And
that.
Pirates back then didn't sound good.
Right.
And it was very, most of them were political. I says, no, we don't need that. There's enough of that on the radio. There's
Right, well, that's it. You found a niche.
Yeah.
Niche. I don't know how to say that word. Niche. You found a niche that was that existed, and we filled several niches. We had, like you said, the technology. The local feel, the local talk, and of course, like you said, the processing. We were filling a niche, a lot of niches, and I have a friend named Anish. He's a good poker player.
And the other thing was we saw a trend happening because that Larry King was very popular back then, but all of a sudden he's on a radio network. I says, wait a minute, they just took one radio station away from being a local station to serve the local area. So we saw the trend going that way, and it did. It eventually did. Now everything is satellite, everything is, I go from then to 50 years later, it's horrible. Radio is horrible. Well, all these
we have Marie
shows.
We have a friend in the chat room, Marie C. Mm-hmm. And she's pointing out that radio is mostly awful. And we have our friend Thrill Science pointing out that was, when we're talking about with CPR and FAT, what was going on in radio, he says it was the beginning of the end. Radio, with few exceptions, in the 80s went to a continuous decline from 1980 to today, when radio in most U.S. markets is all but dead. So yes, 1976, 1977, that was early detection of the way radio was going downhill. But Jim, people would say, well, you should have gone further, should have done it. Maybe you could have saved radio, or at least had a portion of radio that was saved that you could have controlled, that you and I could have controlled. Much like, let's say, WLNG on Eastern Long Island. The people of Eastern Long Island, for all those decades, they never lost the radio that they enjoyed from the 60s. And, with Paul Sidney running WLNG, he didn't go along with the trend.
No, he didn't.
He had the jingles, he had the processing, he had the rock and roll, he had the 100% local feel.
The reverb and everything.
Which is what we were doing on the west end of Long Island. He was the east end of Long Island.
Yeah.
And you and I were doing this on the west end of Long Island, but we could have tried to do it for real. Really for real. But you have to, you can't do it from the bedroom for real, or the basement. It's not going to work in a basement or an attic. Patrick had a nice attic. It's not going to work in an attic, a bedroom. It's not going to work in a private home, all right? A private house.
Here's the thing. The obstacle was to get a license. Not easy to get a license to broadcast on the radio. And in order to get the license, you have to buy a radio station.
Yes, this is talking about owning. That we would, you and I would have these discussions. We were frustrated. But at the same time, if Paul Sidney would say, I didn't own WLNG, I just programmed it.
That's right. He got lucky.
He didn't get lucky. It's not luck. Maybe a little bit of luck.
Yeah.
But I think it's not mostly luck. He went out there and he busted his hump. He busted his hump, Jim Daisy. You understand?
Yes.
He went out and he did it.
Yeah.
He busted his hump. Oh, boy. Talk about busting humps. I'm going to save your life right now when I do this. That's all I'm going to say. I like my new cigar lighter.
Oh, well, look at that.
I'm only heating up the air to...
yeah, it's a little cold in here.
A little cold. But no, he went out and busted his hump. He said, hey, fellas, I could have put a radio... Here, I'll channel Paul Sidney for a moment. Hey, Jim, I could have put a nice radio station you got there with the reverb. I like the idea of the reverb, Jim, and the jingles. Where'd you get that idea, Jim? Where'd you get that idea? But Jim, I could have done it in my basement too. But I went out and I went to I got in my car. I took the train. I took the Long Island Railroad, and I found a radio station. I talked them into letting me give it a try, and I stayed there for 55 years. That's what Paul Sidney. I just channeled him. That wasn't me.
did.
That was him.
And but we didn't hear WLNG until like 1978 or 9.
Mm-hmm. True.
When it came in on my radio, and I says, "What the hell is this?" I feel like I was in a time warp. It sounds like it's 1965 on this thing, they had the old jingles. They were playing oldies and current, and the DJs were lively and just being goofy, and a lot of local commercials.
WLNG was fantastic.
Yeah, I loved hearing the local spots. Not all the network stuff, and Joe's gas station on Pine and Fifth. If you go visit him, you get a free keychain when it was like really local radio. It was a lot of fun.
Thrill Science points out there was also WLIR in the early 80s, which for a while was the station that dares to be different.
But that was like a progressive rock station.
Yeah.
So they were doing something.
They were bucking the trend.
Yeah, they were.
We should have gotten into a car, driven out to Long Island, and found another Long Island station, FM. Would have been better, or AM, FM if there was any. But we could have and said, hey, this is what we do. Let us do it. This is what we do. Here's what we do. Let us do it. That's what we should have done. Don't you think?
It might have worked. Might have made an impact.
But no. We're too lazy.
Yep.
We'd rather stay in the house. You don't have to travel.
That's right. It's so much more convenient to go in your bedroom and turn on a transmitter.
You go in your bedroom, you turn on a transmitter.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when the women show up, they're already there in the house. You don't have to bring them back home.
Yes.
They're walking into your house. Let's face it, Jim, right? We have to face it. Let's face it. I mean, am I right or am I right?
All right, die.
Sometimes he's right.
All right, speaking of being right, we are going to invite phone calls if anybody wants to join us on this 50th anniversary of the first of 5 Federal Communications Commission busts of radio stations that Gymnasium and I were operating and going crazy, doing things. We're going to put out a phone number, but first, let's go back. We're going to listen to Judah, or actually, we're going to see Judah. We're going to see Judah Mansbach in this following video, and we're going to hear Alexander Zimny in this following video, which I've played before, but for the benefit of the fact that it's the 50th anniversary of the FCC bust. This is a little segment from a show that aired on CBS Network Television. The name of the show was No Holds Barred, and they came down and they shot a little... we did a little recreation. We should point out that the studio where this recreation was shot in at the time was actively our pirate, WHOT. We didn't tell them that.
Right.
We didn't tell them we just said, we still have we have the turntable. We have the equipment still hooked up, it's still in the room. But so here is a CBS film crew shooting a segment of Hank and Jim about WFAT, but it's being shot while we are operating the studio of WHOT Brooklyn. And you're going to see Judah Mansbach, and you're going to see Alexander Zimny. And you're going to see a little silly, they wasted so much time. This was a Tom Likas production. Tom Likas was a producer for the show. Yes, thank you very much, Tom. You got us on the show, and we love you for that. But did you have to come up with the idea? And I remember we were sitting there in the meeting. I know what we could do. We got you get the little cars. We could have a little animated segment of the FCC running around with the little cars. So they waste half of the segment, right? Mm-hmm. They waste half of the segment on animation of 2 little stupid cars running around the streets of Manhattan looking for us. That's my personal opinion. But you're going to see Hank Hayes. You're going to see Gymnasium. You're going to see WHOT, which was actually on the air at the time. You ready for this one, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Come on, let's do it together. Let's start it off together. Yeah. CBS. What are you saying? Are you objecting?
No, it's just embarrassing. That's all.
What's embarrassing? How can you pass? What's embarrassing?
No, it's just a few things that I said.
Tell me. Oh well, we would. what we said. It's not.
They
It's
made
not
me
up to
say
you.
There's one thing they made me say, and it wasn't. Remember the
I know, but that's it. That's inside between you and I. The
Yeah.
average people watching, they're not going to know that.
Okay.
It's just, we said what we said. These were our words. But they made us repeat them a couple of times. And it's one thing to say something spontaneously, but it's another thing when they say, "Can you remember? Oh, I have it here. You said, get out of my way or I'm going to break your lousy neck. You said that 8 weeks ago. Could you say that again?" And then you're going to say, "Get out of my way. I'm going to break you." You don't say it the same way.
Right.
That's what the problem is. They asked us to repeat a couple of things. It was our words. But when you repeat them, you're repeating them with without any gusto. That's basically what it comes down to. But it's still, this is fun to watch.
All right.
Let's go back and let's revisit the Columbia Broadcasting System. I think it was on a Friday night. What do you think, Jim?
It was
On a Friday night.
And this was the final show. I mean, there was 6 episodes, and the show was canceled.
Right. It was kind of like WCPR.
And our segment was on the last show.
The last show, we not only did we kill WCPR, but we killed No Holds Barred, network TV show.
What year? Just give the year.
1980.
1980. Okay, that's right, 1980.
So let's go back to October 1980 to the Columbia Broadcasting System. Here we go.
Coming up next, Marion Cantone.
I live with one channel. I can't help it.
What is this? I mean, you guys don't have any commercials? Is this a real station?
Oh, what this is a pirate station. Illegal.
Illegal?
You know, there's an old show business expression you say when you're out of work. I couldn't get arrested. Well, here's some kids that can. They run a pirate radio station in Brooklyn, New York.
I know that the crime that I am committing in broadcasting...
All right, Jim is objecting. Orson, stop the tape, Orson. Orson, stop the tape.
But that's bad copy. It's in July.
Orson, stop the tape. We can't have one channel. All right, Jim, you got to talk for a minute. It's going to take me about a minute to find the 2-channel copy of that. Where are you, Jim? You with me?
I'm right here.
Oh, okay.
Somewhere. I didn't know you were talking to me.
Take over for a minute. I got to real quickly find the 2-channel version of that.
Okay. Oh, there is a 2-channel version.
There certainly is.
Okay. Or monophonic. TV wasn't stereo yet back in 1980, as far as I remember. Well, we didn't have a stereo TV.
Talk about the conditions of when we shot this.
We shot this, and first of all, they wanted us to do a live show. They did know that the studio was there because they asked, "Can you go live?" And I said, "Well, I don't know if that's a good idea." We said, and it says, "Yeah, go live." And then they came back to us. Says, "No, we looked into it. Says, no, you can't do that. That's because we would be encouraging breaking the law on a network TV show. So you can't do that." So anyway, the conditions. So now we knew that was never going to be aired as doing a live pirate show there, and they were filming it. So it says we got to make it a recreation. And they had to even put on the bottom a recreation.
This was in one of the meetings.
Yeah, one of the
meetings. In mind, like you said,
went to meetings.
I want to repeat this.
Yes.
At the first meeting, they said, "Oh, so you guys, can you have a transmitter there?" It says, "Yeah." "Oh, this would be fantastic. You could be you could be on the air." Yeah. "We could if you want." So they're asking us to do it, and then the next meeting they go, "Oh, listen, the legal said we can't
spoke to the lawyers."
And not only that, they have to put underneath reenactment. So keep an eye out for that. It will flash reenactment, like this right now. What you're watching right now, you're looking at a reenactment. I'm not really here. Jim's not really here. We're reenacting what would be if we were here.
Did you find it? Or
yes, I found it.
Okay, I just want to say the conditions were horrendous. It was it was the summer, actually.
It was late summer in a heat wave.
So it was. You sure it was 80 and not 81? Because we started broadcasting in September or October of 80.
You
from the new
talk for a minute.
location.
I'll look it up. I will look it up right now.
So I think that might have been 81, but he's going to verify it. So anyway, it was the dead of summer, and yes, we did have an air conditioner in the bedroom where the studio was, where they were going to be filming. So now they got the camera crew coming in, and a producer, the one that this woman that was producing the piece.
1980, Jim.
1980.
Yes. I remembered that right. I got one thing right in my miserable life. One time in my miserable life, I was correct.
You're wasting my time for you, babbling. Call me on the phone, I'll tell you where it is.
So
we're going to give out a phone number soon, Bill.
When did we start WHOT?
HOT first signed on in late September, early October, 1980.
But we were able to do shows back then. Maybe we were testing. I don't know. Maybe in the summer we were just not ready.
Yeah.
So, but the studio was built.
The studio was built.
ready.
When you moved in, that was a brand new studio. You just
Yeah.
moved out of the projects.
Yeah. So anyway, it was very hot, and we had there was an air conditioner in the window, and you got this crew in, and they had these lights, and a film crew, and it's a tiny room, and it was packed. So the producers is on the bed, and the camera crew, they were on the bed with the hanging lights and the microphone. The guy with the microphone, with the boom.
The audio man. He was the audio man.
And
with the boom.
It says we can't run the air conditioner. So now the door's shut and the air conditioner's off. It's like 95 degrees outside, and that means it's 105 degrees inside.
At least.
So we had to remember they started filming, and they only could film for a few minutes, and we had to take breaks, turn on the air conditioner. Everybody had to drink water, wipe the sweat off our faces. And he says, all right, let's try it. Let's do it again. And this went on.
This was about a 10-hour shoot.
Yes, into the night. Started in the daytime, and it was nighttime, and we were still going. And remember, we were wearing Maxell T-shirts, me and Hank. Maxell is a tape. It's a brand of tape that we
I want to point out that at this time, I was working for Crazy Eddie. I was working at Crazy Eddie's.
Their prices were insane.
And still are insane, okay? So I was a Crazy Eddie employee, one of my favorite jobs I ever had in my life. I worked in the warehouse. And down in the basement, in the bowels of the Crazy Eddie warehouse, of course I'm going to look and find anything I can find. I found a room that contained T-shirts, Frisbees, promotional giveaways. You know how they would always have an opening.
Yeah.
This Saturday, come to the 9 stores, a brand new store opening up. Well, they always had tons of T-shirts and stuff made for every opening, and they wouldn't always give it all away. Mm-hmm. So in this room was all the stuff they couldn't give away anymore because it said 7 stores. They were already up to like 15, 20 stores. Well, in this room of discarded promotional items, which, by the way, I was in heaven, was boxes of T-shirts from Maxell. I saw on the box it said Maxell. So I dove into this, and I popped open the box, and there was red and blue actual Maxell T-shirts. So that a lot of those came home with me. I mean, they didn't want them anymore. They weren't giving them away. So a lot of those T-shirts came home with me, aside from the fact that it had the Maxell logo, and you and I love Maxell tape.
Yes.
But it was also free T-shirts, free clothing. So we naturally going to wear a brand new Maxell T-shirt. Well, if you watch the show, if you watch the video, you're going to notice at some point that my shirt changes.
And mine.
Both of our shirts start off as Maxell T-shirts, and I don't think you could see the logo. And then you see my shirt change to where I have my sleeve is ripped.
Yes.
Why? Because, did you hear what Jim just said about we did a 10 or 12 hour shoot in an oven, right? They called us up and said, fellas, we have some bad news. What's the bad news? Well, you guys were wearing Maxell T-shirts. Yeah. Well, CBS says they're not going to give Maxell free advertising. Mm-hmm. So they're not going to air if you keep the T-shirts on. It says, but we already did the shoot 10 hours. They go, well, what we've done is we've compiled a list of shots where you see Maxell, and we want to come back and do some reshoots and just redo the scenes and don't wear the Maxell shirt. And then, we know what you said. That's why we had to repeat what you said.
Yes.
And we says, are you kidding? Again, you want to do it? And like, yeah, this won't take as long because it's only X number of scenes, X number of lines we had to say. He says, otherwise it won't air. Remember that? They says, otherwise it's not going to air. It's just never going to air. So, of course, we had to do it. Well, they come back.
It's
the same cameraman, the same female producer, the same director, the same boom, the same room, the same air conditioner, the same water. And now they're telling us, all right, Jim, this is, you sit here. Now we were following a script. You realize we were following a script. Oh, you were sitting here, Hank, when Jim says this, you kind of turn and look at him. And, Jim, this is where you say, well, it felt like they were coming after us and we were trying to run away and they would keep coming and then we would run and we couldn't get away. That's why it sounds that way. And then when you see my ripped shirt, because my parents were mad at me, I begged them. I says, Mom and Dad, I have to go redo for television. And my shirt, the only shirt I had, I needed a blue shirt. It had to be the same color. I think maybe. Anyway, I says I need a blue shirt. I need $11 to buy a shirt. You're not getting a penny. Go get a job. You know, I was a bum. Let's face it. I was an absolute bum. I said, I understand that, but I'm going to be on television. I'm going to be wearing a ripped shirt. Then you learn your lesson. You'll go get a job and buy a shirt. You'll go get a job and earn enough money to buy a T-shirt the rest of your life. But in the year 2026, you're going to show everybody your ripped T-shirt because 50 years later, you couldn't afford a T-shirt because you wouldn't get a job, you bum. But I says, but I had a job. I'm working for Crazy Eddie. He didn't pay me enough to buy a T-shirt. I had to get T-shirts out of the basement. This is what you're about to see in the next. It's like a 7-minute segment.
It was a network television commitment.
It was network, Howard. This was the network.
Now, if they had it fine, there's no reason why it can't be fine.
Howard knows all about it.
It was a network television spectacular, Howard.
There's nobody here. My apartment's being painted.
So that was an experience in and of itself, having to go back and reshoot a lot of scenes where you can't see, you know. I had to have my plain ripped T-shirt, and I did it. And I says, well, I can't not be on television. You know, I would not. We'd be doing a show here today, and we would be talking about the time we were almost on TV from being busted. All right, so I think we're ready now. Hopefully this one will be in both channels. Orson, I hope this one's in both channels now.
Where Charlie Briggs chops up the finest prairie-fed beef and tastes.
See, I'm hungry now. I didn't eat dinner.
Let's go. All right. Let's see if it'll work. Oh, wait, I got a couple of buttons I got to hit. Hold on. All these buttons, Orson, you're supposed to train me way ahead of time.
I spent 20 times more for you people than any other commercial.
Well, apparently this one's going to start at the end of Star Trek. So I have no idea. We better watch this together. Okay. Jim, Star Trek is ending.
We just missed Star Trek.
What is this? I mean, you guys don't have any commercials? Is this a real station?
Oh, what this is a pirate station. Illegal.
Illegal?
You know, there's an old show business expression you say when you're out of work. I couldn't get arrested. Well, here's some kids that can. They run a pirate radio station in Brooklyn, New York.
I know that the crime that I am committing in broadcasting is a federal misdemeanor, which is punishable with a $10,000 fine and/or 1 year in prison.
The FCC is a regulatory agency. Oftentimes, there are certain stations that go on the air that don't belong where they are. And it is our job to locate these stations and to close them down.
I have to stay in the shadows because I'm currently involved in a pirate radio station that's active right now.
Pirate stations place themselves right at the edge of the broadcast band. This is done so that the normal listener can turn his radio just slightly beyond the AM broadcast band and hear the pirate station.
We feel that politically we can do more as a pirate station than we ever could as a legal station.
Our office has a directional roof antenna. It can detect where a signal is coming from.
With your transistor radio, everybody has a good time. You can dance to the beat of the transistor radio, even if the sun don't shine. Oh yeah, we love the pirate stations. We love the pirate stations. We love the pirate stations. Don't let them take them away.
Any station that is on the air without permission is taken very seriously by the Commission because they are a source of interference to existing stations.
We operated a pirate station called WCPR. The mistake we made with that was we had a schedule, and the FCC knew when we'd be on, so they tracked us down very quickly, 7 weeks.
When my son came into the bedroom, told me that FCC was coming up, well, I just was terribly frightened.
He came over to me, he says, you know, your son broke the law. You know, you can get a $10,000 fine or 1 year in prison.
We went back on the air one night. It's WFAT.
We decided to do it one night and one night only. But when we did it, it was like an alcoholic taking another drink. We just couldn't stop.
This is WFAT New York.
In New York City, we entertain you. So plan your weekend with music and us.
Live from New York, this is WFAT. Hello again, everybody. My name is Larry McRae.
My name is Hal Hall.
And we're going to be sitting here playing music, taking phone calls.
Okay, I am picking up something at about 16:20. No, it sounds like a man talking.
Hello, you're live on the air.
Hi.
Hi. Yes, you're on the air.
My name is Cynthia. I'm calling from Queens.
Queens.
How you doing? I was tuning down the dial, and I came to 1620. What is this? I mean, you guys don't have any commercials? Is this a real station?
Well, what this is a pirate station.
Illegal.
Illegal?
No license.
Operating from a ship.
A ship? Where?
Someplace in New York City.
Wow, it sounds great. I love it.
Hey, is there anything...
Mobile unit number 1. This is the base station. What's your location? Over.
Enjoy the animation, people. Enjoy the animation.
Well, that's why we play twice as much music in half the time here at WFAT.
Can you take a bearing and get back to me? Over. Base to mobile number 2. What's your location? Over.
Radio into you creeps with your childish nonsense on the air. I can't believe people like you have the audacity.
Well, thanks for calling anyway.
That's what we do to lunch, Fat.
Oh, hello. How you doing, Hal?
Okay, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Staten Island. My name is Mitch.
Staten Island.
How are we coming in at Staten
Oh,
Island?
you're coming in fine. You're doing about a...
Are you able to pick up the signal on the ground?
It's
Over.
really weird. I was wondering...
Yeah, I'm hearing you from
New York City.
Somewhere in New York City.
Somewhere in New York. Well,
Try and find us.
When you're walking down the street with your transistor radio, everybody has a good time. You can dance to the beat of your transistor radio, even when the sun don't shine. You can hear your favorite rock and roll, rhythm and blues with a lot of soul.
We would operate between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m. That's the best time to operate for us because one reason is the FCC is asleep.
We love the pirate stations. We love the pirate station. Don't let them take them away. Don't let them take them away. There's some swinging DJs playing top 40. They can really turn you on. Now the government's trying to close down the stations. What'll happen when they're gone?
It feels like they're the bad guys and we're the good guys, and they're coming after us, and we're trying to run away.
Well, because, see, we actually went on the air in the beginning to have fun.
Fight for the pirate stations. Please don't take them away. Don't take them away. Don't take them away. Please don't take them away.
Hey, that song was dedicated to FCC. How'd you like that?
Tisha, look at that sleeve.
There's always someone out there to start up another station.
As long as there's radio, there will be pirates.
That's that animation. Thank you, Tom Likas, for the animation.
What was the guy's name?
Radio signal, Fallon. Do you know what that means, sir? You bet I know what it means. It's Hank. Call the FCC. Get every direction, find a car they've got. Ask them to clear the air.
This is the Federal Communications Commission. We've been listening to the nonsense you've been doing on the air. We know who you are. We're going to get you. I advise you get off the air.
That was Kelly Monteith.
Oh, Kelly Monteith.
Kelly Monteith. He was a
like a
stand-up comic.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
Yeah.
But did you notice now, Jim pointed this out, and I said this at the time when I sat there with my parents watching it in my living room in 1980. They made us go in and reshoot, and they heat and all that stuff, and I had to have a ripped T-shirt. And by the way, the girl I was trying to impress at the time, that's all she said. When I called her, when she called me after the show, she said, "Why do you have such a ripped T-shirt?" Anyway, because of the Maxell logo. Did you notice? Did anybody catch the gigantic Maxell logo that went by on the tape? Did you notice that? You saw that, right, Jim?
Yes.
Maybe I can capture that moment. I could capture that moment in time as the Maxell tape goes by, and I remember saying, "But there's the Maxell logo."
Mm-hmm.
They made me sweat my balls off. I sweat my balls off 2 times. My testicles were gone from the heat because of the Maxell. I had to embarrass myself wearing a ripped T-shirt, and these idiots let this gigantic Maxell logo go by. You know, I asked them about that.
Yeah.
I did. I said, "Well, you let the Maxell logo go by." You know what he told me? Well, because it just went by for 1 second. It wasn't too long. But when you guys were on film, when you guys were sitting there talking, it was all, you had like a billboard. And he even said to me, did you take money from Maxell? Did you try to do this? You know, did you go, like, I'm going to call Maxell. Right?
Yes, that's right.
I'm an idiot. I'm going to call Maxell and say, "Hey, Maxell, I'm going to be on TV. Me and my friend, we're going to wear Maxell T-shirts. What are you going to give me? A tape?" That didn't happen. All right? That didn't happen.
And, the producer that was there, the woman there, should have realized that we were wearing a logo of a product.
Exactly.
And it wasn't our fault. And, she probably got in trouble for that.
Well, yeah, I'm sure she got talked to.
Yeah.
Like, what'd you do? What are you doing when you got no eyes? I mean, it's called Last Looks, right? I did a little bit of acting. It's called Last Look. First of all, it's called wardrobe, and it's called makeup. All right, we didn't have wardrobe and makeup, but you have Last Looks. Here's the producer. She was nice.
Yeah.
Here's the producer. She should have said, "Okay, fellas, let me see what she did say, "Okay, this is what you guys are wearing?" Okay. Because, they're worried about how it's going to look if you're wearing stripes. There's certain things you don't want to wear on TV, right? Because it will clash, whatever. So she approved our wardrobe. And that was where the mistake was made. The mistake was made with the producer approving the 2 pirate kids, both proudly wearing their Maxell T-shirt. Not because they're getting any money from Maxell. That would have been a good idea.
Yeah.
I wish I had thought of that. Maybe Maxell might have given us a case of tape. How many? A box of 10 reels. That would have saved us a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
Actually.
Expensive.
Imagine if we had a deal. We should have gotten a deal from Maxell. We could have got some free videotape.
Yeah.
But she should have said, "No, you guys, you have a different shirt than that because, you're going to be on TV and we can't have." I mean, anybody, this goes back to day one in television. Or even in radio. And in Jack Benny's time, you had to be careful what you said because it could be considered free advertising.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff, Jim. But that was a lot of fun. It was fun, no matter what. One thing we do, we make sure we have fun.
But the thing is, couldn't they, like what they do sometimes in TV shows? They would zoom in on and they keep the aspect ratio the same.
Special effects.
Yeah.
Costs money. Production, that costs money, Jim. They didn't have money. They already paid the film crew to come out twice to your house.
I know.
That was enough money. That was enough money to pay the film crew. 2 days, 2 shoots, 2.
Yep.
There it is. Is that it going by right there?
Yep.
Up. As if I'm going to be able to back up on this thing. You can't back up on this.
See, on my thing, I can.
Yes, that's one thing that's better.
Yeah. There's always something there's always something gained and something lost.
Was it after that? Yep, there, up.
You just missed by one frame.
All right, I'll do
maybe
it.
2 frames.
I'll do it. We should watch. Let's all watch together as we try. I'm trying to get that Maxell logo freeze frame.
Yeah.
Let's see. I got to be ready with the button. I got to be.
He's
fast.
ready. He's got his hand on the trigger.
Can see it. Whoop, wait. It's coming. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. There it is.
Why? Because the energy of a system always goes toward less.
There it is.
And any well-equipped household, I think, should have at least 3 Stilson wrenches.
I said, there it is.
What am I doing? Work.
One more time. There it is.
Now, I'm going to give you the argument.
Give me the argument. Yes. Jim, give me the argument. There's a gigantic Maxell logo. There it is on the CBS television network. Then I had to sweat my testicles off, and here they have a big giant close-up of the Maxell logo right there. And I wasn't allowed. I had to go. I had to be embarrassed. I had to be embarrassed, especially with the girl I was trying to impress. I'm going to be on TV tonight, baby. You're going to watch. Hey, we're going to have a good time. She says, I'm not going out with you. You're going to wear a ripped T-shirt? I had to tell her, well, my muscle was so huge. I was picking up, and my muscle bulged, and it tore the shirt. She didn't buy that, Jim. She didn't buy it at all. So I lost the girl. I lost a lot of sweat. I lost one of my testicles from sweating and all this. And there they show the giant Maxell logo. There it is. Unbelievable, right?
Yes, they did shoot a lot. And we had people come over because they asked, can you get some of your friends to make phone calls? Because we want to reenact you taking phone calls, which you heard people calling in, right?
Those are friends of ours.
Yes, and they went to a payphone like one block down.
Yeah.
And they were on standby. We didn't have any way to communicate with them.
No.
You know, we didn't have not even a walkie-talkie, you know. We must have had the phone number to the phone booth, or they were told, all right, go there and call. And, you know, and I think we had to call them because otherwise they have to keep putting nickels in the phone. Back then, every 3 minutes you got to put a nickel.
They will put out a little bit, especially Mitch.
Yeah.
You know, but he was there all day long, and he was hoping to get interviewed, and they told us, have your friends, listeners come, we'll interview them too. 9,000 degrees it was in your house.
Yeah.
It was 9,000 degrees.
And the room was very small, and so they weren't able to get any interview.
But at least Mitch got on the phone.
Yeah.
He got to be a part of the production on the phone, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, we certainly had a good time. Well, speaking of having a good time, we do have a phone number, Jim, in case anybody would like to call in and you have a question, you have an observation. Pete Sake! Pete Sake is in the room.
Pete, who's he?
Pete Sake is in the room.
Mr.
Maybe
Pete
wants to call in. We were just talking about CPR over here. And let's see if I can figure this out. So what else, Jim? Tell what else is going on?
Other than it's cold outside? No.
It's been very cold, yes.
Yeah, it's climate change. We're having a lot of that lately. Anyway, there's other things about that. Then they went into the living room, and they were interviewing your parents.
That's right. My parents were there. My parents, yes, only your parents made the final cut.
Right. And
see, they had to have the little car, the little Volkswagen. It was more important to have the little Volkswagen run around, and what's his name, Agent Dan Noel say, "It's a male talk. I hear a male talking. It sounds like a man talking." Than to have our parents, my father. It would have been nice to have my father. I told him, go get a job, you bum. So you don't have to be on television, on network television. Network television of all places, a television network spectacular with a ripped T-shirt, you bum.
I just give up.
Get a job.
And we were all sad because they spent a lot of time with your parents, and none of it made it to air. Not even one comment.
It was too important to have animation of cars running around the streets of New York.
Yeah. And Randall was there too, right?
Yes, Randall. They had him on the roof for one line. He got to say one line on the roof. Oh, he did. Oh, 2 lines in the shadows.
Up there, in the shadows, but he was up there, and he demanded that it's got to be my face can't be on. He says, all right, we'll do a shadow thing.
Yeah.
And he said a lot of stuff up there, and they only used 2 lines.
Yeah.
But again, it would have been more interesting.
It was more important for Tom Leykis to have his little animation going on.
So he was probably there as they were editing it. And he says, no, and it says, all right, yes, do this with the cars, yes. And the song in the background, rather than having actual interviews that are kind of funny.
I mean, it was a great idea.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. It was a great idea. That's Jim's mother and father. Jim's mother and father right there. Mr. and Mrs. Nasium. No, it was fantastic. We were so happy. I remember getting the phone call saying, guys, you're going to be on TV. Give me, we're going to be on TV. That's all I knew. You told me. I was driving around in my car, and you said to me, listen, you got to come to my house. We're going to be on television. We're going to be on a TV show. That's all I could say. And I flew to your house, and that was a crazy drive because I'm thinking, I'm going to be on TV. What am I going to do? I thought maybe I was going to sing, and believe it or not, I wanted to sing New York, New York. By Frank Sinatra. I says, if I get to sing, I'm going to sing New York, New York, like Frank Sinatra. So I was driving down Kings Highway, and Stowell Avenue to go to your house, and I was screaming because New York came on the radio, and I was singing along with the windows open, and I'm going, I'm going to be on TV, I'm going to sing this song on television. I didn't know what the hell you were talking about. We're going to be on TV. It could have been anything, right?
Yeah.
Could have been anything. Speaking of anything, you want to give us a call? We do have a phone number. Let me go back so you can see the telephone number. It is area code 816-974-7283. If you would like to call in and say hi, ask a question, join the party, join the celebration, the 50th anniversary of our first FCC bust, right here on the Pirate Radio Guy podcast, episode 9. Pete's sake, it's episode 9.
Yes.
Pete's sake is also has a lot of interesting observations of experiences being around and being part of an FCC raid or two. Today, of course, is just CPR, but Pete, if you want to give us a call and check in, please do. If not, we'll save it for the bigger shows that are to come. Because it's just still, I've been enjoying the past, ever since we first signed on with the Pirate Radio Guys podcast. I've been enjoying the fact that we're doing it in real time. We're making it last as long as WCPR actually lasted.
Play my song.
And I believe, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, on the telephone, hopefully he can hear us and we can hear him. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Pete Sake.
Hi, everybody.
Pete, how are you? How are you?
I'm all right. I'm not going to stay on the phone too long in case anybody else wants to call in, but I was sitting here, you're telling the story about the T-shirts, and all I kept thinking to myself is, when the camera crew came back, you should have had BASF shirts on.
Listen, if we had a BASF shirt, or I could have afforded to buy one, I couldn't. I literally I said to my parents, I had one day. I remember it was the day before the reshoot. And I ran to the store on 18th Avenue, and I think it was like Telco. It was like the John's Bargain store of the day. A discount store. And I just found a blue T-shirt. End of story. Just a blue T-shirt. And it was, I swear, Pete, what could it have been? $6, $5.99. And my parents wouldn't give me the money. But if I had the money, I would have done just what you said. Show up at a BASF. I'm wearing BASF. You're going to wear a Sony. How you doing, everybody? We're ready to go. Come on, let's go. Sony, focus.
And you're like, are these okay?
That would have been perfect, Pete. That would have been absolutely perfect. Oh, my goodness. There he is. Look who's on the screen.
I never knew about that TV appearance because when you guys sent out those letters after the FAT bust, I remember you wrote down you were going to be on the radio. You said you were going to be on a couple of the radio shows, and we listened to the radio shows. And I think it said something about TV, but I don't remember if it was that appearance or something else. But I missed that completely. I didn't see that until I started hanging out with you guys. And,
no kidding.
Jim showed it to me on his Betamax.
He had to pull out his original Betamax.
Yes.
Well, my copy was a copy of Randall's, and so was Gymnasium's. So we had to copy. So we had second generation. But now, I think that's what we still have. We don't have anything better than second generation.
That looks pretty good for because it's beta. That's why that looks pretty good for second generation.
Yeah, not bad. There he is. There's Alexander Zimny. There he is. Alexander Zimny on the screen. Pete's sake, Alexander Zimny. He's the man. He's one of the men that walked in 50 years ago. Right now. Turn that radio station off, fellas. Don't make me come back here again. There's the man. He said it. Don't make me come back here again. Look at that equipment behind him in the racks. That's the FCC racks.
Wow, look at that. And they couldn't figure out that it was coming from the same location on WFAT. It took Judah Mansbach, one man, to insist it was the same people. And they couldn't just come here, come to the same location without proof.
Right.
Without proof. But
I'm sure like everybody else is probably like, hey, you're crazy. That's not the same guys. You're nuts.
Pete Sayek, you are a veteran of pirate radio, of FCC busts. No less. You too. You were there. In coming days, now, Pete, you were listening when we first started the first Pirate Radio Guy podcast on December 14th, and now here it is. This was the length of WCPR from that day to today in real time. From that day until today, and then it was over.
It's so funny, though, like over the years, talking to both of you about CPR, because, like I said, I never heard CPR. I only heard FAT, but the way it seems, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that so much stuff happened in such a short period of time that it almost seemed like it was way longer.
It seems longer, yes. It does.
Because when you and I were talking many years ago, I'll tell everybody give everybody a little insight here. When Hank and I would get done with the show, Hank would drive me home, and we'd sit in front of my house and talk for 2 hours.
Yeah, it was like a whole other show. It was like a whole other show.
It was almost like we debriefed the show and then we said goodnight. So Hank was telling me the story one night about CPR, and just from you just telling me the story then about the whole process of getting the transmitter and testing and doing the shows and this and that, when you're telling the story, you would think that it was like 5 years went by.
Jim, you looking at your screen?
And it's only months, You packed a lot into those months, the 2 years.
I know, no, really. It was not a lot of time. That's why this, so far, right here on this podcast you're listening to and enjoying and loving and hugging each other, I wanted to have the feeling in real time gymnasium. Think about it. From the time Mike Flagg was here, he joined us on day one, until today. That's the length of time. We relived it in the length of time. What do you think of that?
That's wild.
And on the screen, are you looking at your screen? There he is, Alexander Zimny, Engineer-in-Chief, FCC New York District. There he is.
Are any of those guys still alive, by the way?
I don't know. Like I said, I know it's verified that Judah Mansbach passed away. That has been verified. I remember when it happened. Before the pandemic, mind you.
Oh.
But
it wasn't as a direct result of the pandemic.
No, not him. But Jim, what do you think about that? We have relived it in real time, and here we are, from beginning. Yes. And this would be the end of Phase 1, WCPR.
And now we were left without a radio station and we thought we were done. In the beginning we thought we were done.
All right, Pete Sayek, in days to come. In days to come, we have so many things to talk about and share, and get on camera, and all the fun stuff. How's everything out there? What's the temperature? Give us a temperature check in the frozen tundra of western New Jersey.
Current temperature here at Fabulous Studio C is 12 degrees Fahrenheit.
You got one less than us. We got 13 right now. All right, Pete, a lot more fun.
It's cold outside because the cats are intertwined with one another.
Well, they're good. They know how to huddle. Something even Gymnasium and I had to do a couple of times. We had to huddle. Yeah. All right, Pete, thanks for the call, man.
Very good, and I look forward to the upcoming editions.
Lots more fun to come. Lots more fun to come, and this is going to open the floodgates. The reason I was holding back is because it was just one. I wanted to go 1 week at a time, the same pace of WCPR.
Oh, yeah, no.
1 week at a time. Now the floodgates are open. The bust has occurred. Alexander Zimny walked in. That man right there, he told us, turn the radio station off. Shut it down now. And don't make me come back. He's like the father driving the car. Don't make me come back there. You kids in the back seat, don't make me come back there.
Don't make me turn this car around.
Because I'll do it. I'll turn this car around.
In closing, before I go, I'll just say the following. You have confirmed that Judah has in fact passed on.
100%, yes.
And therefore, you won.
Oh.
This is the
I'm
Federal
not nice. I never
Communications
claimed to
Commission.
be. You guys won.
You've been listening to the nonsense you've been doing on the air. We know who you are. We're going to get you. I advise you to get off the air.
Pete, he advised us to get off the air. All right?
Well, it's like a winter weather advisory. It's up to you if you want to go out or not.
Right. All right, Pete. Thanks for the call, man.
You got it. I'll be listening.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only Pete Take. You can call in too. We welcome. We love phone calls. You want to give us a call? Check in now. 816-974-7283. That translates to 816-9-PIRATE. Don't you get a kick out of that, Gymnasium?
I do.
9-PIRATE. All right? 816-9-PIRATE on week 9 of the Pirate Radio Guy podcast. And just a lot going on. So, going to wrap it up, Jim. You know, we've been having a grand old time, but even, like Alexander Zimny said, you got to shut it down. Don't make me come back here. You know, it's got to happen, but maybe we'll get... Oh, we're going to get a phone call. Ladies and gentlemen, let's see who's on the line. Hi, who's on the Hank and Jim Potty line?
Hank and Jim, it's T.R. Buckley.
T.R. Buckley! T.R. Longtime listener and friend of Hank and Jim and Pete and T.R. Buckley. How you doing? How are you? What's up? What's going on?
I'm just enjoying listening to your podcast. I love these things here. So I was curious as I'm listening to all this, all that footage that they shot of, like, your parents, Hank, and other footage that never made it, what happened to that footage?
You know, you bring up an interesting point. We should try to find out.
Do you know what happened to it?
No, I don't. I have no idea. I could find out. I could reach out to Tom Likas because he was the producer, or I know he was working for the show. He got us on the show.
Yeah.
We got to find out the production. And I'll look into it, Tom. It's a great question because somewhere, I would imagine the production company, has archives somewhere. And who knows? You never know. We have a few connections. We still have a few connections in the industry. We have fans, and if someone might be willing to help us out and say, "Hey, these guys want to see what's going on with the footage." Wouldn't that be great?
But typically, don't they just discard it?
There's no typical. It's it's like your stuff. Look, I have your library and my library on my hard drive. Mm-hmm. There could be someone out there that has this stuff, that kept it. But no, it's a great idea, Tom.
It'd be like all those Beatles recordings with all that footage that they recorded of them talking in the studio and everything else.
Yeah, no, it's great. I never thought of that. You see, we don't think that way, but it's good that we have friends that think that way. Thank you, Tom, because that is fantastic. That would be wonderful. Oh, that would be amazing.
So I also got on my favorite AI tool, which is Grok, which is Elon Musk's AI tool, which I love.
I use that.
I have the subscription to that one, and I looked up Alexander Zimny, and he is still alive.
Wow, nice.
He renewed his amateur radio license in January 2020.
Cool.
And it says here, Alexander Zimny served as engineer in charge for district director for the FCC New York Field Office during the 1980s. He is mentioned in that role in FCC documents, news articles, including a 1987 coverage of radio pirate raids and congressional directories.
Yes, fantastic. Good old Alexander Zimny. I'm going to reach out to him. I'm going to get in touch with Alexander Zimny. Did he give any idea what part of the country he's in? Maybe we could tell from his call sign or something. Because I'm gonna talk to Alexander Zimny. I'm gonna get him on the podcast.
Yes, his call sign is N as in Nancy 2 M as in Mary Z A N2MZA.
N2MZA. Right? Oh, Tom, this is good. I tell you this. I'm going to make a vow, and it's on the internet, so it never goes away. I'm going to reach out to Alexander Zimny and see if he'd like to come on the podcast. We have nothing against Alexander Zimny. He treated us nice, He was a good guy, and he could imagine getting the interview, which we thought they were going to do that with CBS. They did you notice they did interview Alexander Zimny?
Yeah,
but they only had him say 2 little lines. He says it's illegal to do, and this is where the stations go on the brand. But we can. Wouldn't that be a great time if we got him to to talk to us? It'll be Hank, Jim, Pete, and Alex.
One correction here. He was N2 MZA. That expired. I'm reading Grok further here. It expired 2001, but he renewed it, and he's now N2KLN.
N2KLN. All right.
And that was issued in January of 2020. It expires in March of 2030. His address. Oh, it lists his address.
Wait,
120 Hollywood.
No, don't give me. No, I don't want to. I don't want to tell everybody where his address. But no, can you text that to me, Tom? That would be fantastic.
I'll text it to you.
Thank you. Who knows? Next week. Next week. I'll tell you during the week. I will give you updates if I get in touch with Alexander Zimny.
Yeah.
Former engineer-in-chief, FCC New York Division. Fantastic, Tom. Fantastic.
We met him how many times? Twice, right? 2
times we met Alex. We met him the first time 50 years ago today, and the second time when he came down and for FAT, when Henry Paulson said, "You remember this guy? He was here 2 years ago. Remember him? You look familiar, Alex." Hello, kids. Remember I told you, idiots? I didn't want to come back. You made me come back. Oh, Tom.
We didn't listen to him.
So, Tom, where are you? Are you in the eastern place, or are you more western right now?
I am at my Indianapolis home right now.
Ah, so what is the temperature there? I bet it's colder than here. Could be colder than here.
It's been cold, although today it got up to almost 30 degrees.
Whoa.
So, a heat wave.
That's a heat wave. It's 13 degrees here right now, let me tell you.
And I think we're over our single-digit and teens temperatures. It's supposed to get up in the 40s now.
I hope we get that because I want the snow to melt. I'm tired of even looking at the snow. All right. Well, Tom, thank you for the call.
I want to get back to New York, but I don't want to go back to the snow because that new mayor doesn't know how to clear the snow.
No, you got mountains in front of your house. I heard they just picked up the garbage like yesterday. So, All right, Tom, we should get together soon. All right, when the weather clears up, we should get together and enjoy some jazz and all that stuff. We got to get Pete Sake to come down when we go see some of that live jazz. All right, Tom?
That'd be great. All right, thank you, Jim.
Hey, thank you so much for the call, John. Tom, we enjoyed it.
All right, see you.
Thank you. Bye.
T.R. Buckley, longtime friend, longtime listener, dedicated, fantastic.
I sent the text. Did you get it?
Sent it to where? To me or?
No, to the, that. You should be able to receive it.
You sent an image?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it works. I wanted to see if it worked.
It does work.
Look at that.
Now, I don't know how to get back. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, get back.
But, Jim, having a good time. That's what it's all about.
It's all about. That's what it's all about. When you boil it down, when you break it apart into tiny pieces, that's what it's all about.
We have some time left if anybody else would like to check in. See, it's nice. We're going to bring telephone calls to the internet. Let's see who's on the line now. Hello, you're live with Hank and Jim on the Pirate Radio Guy podcast.
Jim, having a good time.
Hey, I hear you there. Wait, I hear you.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh, I'm just turning my radio down, like you say. I just figured I'd say hello today. I love the show today. It was wonderful.
Robert, it is Robert. Long time listener, Robert. How you doing, Robert, man?
You bring back so many memories, But Crazy Eddie, they're even though it's not directly related to pirate radio, it would be interesting if you did an episode on Crazy Eddie and got your friend and mine, Sam Antar, on the show, because he loves to talk about the good old times too. So that would be kind of interesting.
Please, Robert, we must, if we could facilitate this, because I'm a huge fan of his and everything he's doing lately. I follow him on Twitter.
Yeah.
And, I'm blown away. And I laugh because, he didn't know me. I was just a warehouseman. I was just a guy loading and unloading the trucks. But I loved being, first of all, I was so lucky. I had a job where I loved working where I worked. Because I work for Crazy Eddie.
Right.
I'm loading trucks and unloading trucks. That's my job. I'm the warehouseman. I loved loading the trucks.
It's a shame you weren't loading and unloading the money.
And the warehouse was connected. It was the headquarters also. So every day we called him Kelso. That was the name of Eddie. You know, Kelso. Kelso's here. I see Kelso's parking his car, and he would walk through, and I'm like, "There's Crazy Eddie saying good morning to me." You know, and there he is. There's the man. There's Eddie. There he is. He's my boss. And then, of course, I knew all the relatives because everybody that worked there was his uncles and aunts and cousins. Right. And I knew Sam. I knew who Sam was. I knew Sam's car. I think he drove like a brown Cadillac at the time. So the key is now you know, if I could hang out and get him on the show, anything, it would be, you wouldn't, I would be elated. I'd be elated. That'd be fantastic.
I mean, we've met with him recently. I sent you a picture. And the stories about him growing up, and with a family that hides cash in the walls.
Yes,
it's hilarious. And you can hardly blame him. He was like a kid in the family business, and he went to Baruch College, got his degree in accounting, and went right into the crooked family business. And,
right.
And I mean, this is why they were kind of sympathetic to him and gave him no jail time. Even though he is a convicted felon. But because, I mean, he really had sort of no choice,
Right. What are you going to do? You can't buck the whole family.
What are you going to do? And I have to say one thing to Crazy Eddie. They screwed over their investors, but they were very nice to their customers. If you were just a retail walk-up customer, you would not get screwed too badly.
Well, that's what I was. That's what me and Jim were.
Yeah. Yeah. They treated their customers well. They screwed, people who wanted to get rich quick on their stock, and who cares about them, So I still admire Crazy Eddie, even though they were crooked as hell. So,
well, I'll tell you what, real quick, aside from, with all the radio stuff and the equipment and buying equipment, Jim and I, we spent we spent a lot of time in Crazy Eddie buying things.
We bought, yeah. We didn't have the TIAC yet. We bought the TIAC 4-channel.
We bought the 4-channel TIAC from Crazy Eddie,
yeah.
but the key is, I'm saying that that one day I was in Crazy Eddie. I don't know what, maybe I was buying cassettes, and the idea came to me. I was like 21, maybe 20 years old. I might have been 20, and the idea came to me because I was job hunting, and my father was chasing me to get a job. I needed to buy a T-shirt so I don't walk around with a stupid ripped T-shirt on television. And I asked the salesman, I says, hey, are you looking to hire people? He goes, yeah, we're looking to hire. So he gave me an application. So I filled out an application. I thought I was going to be a salesman or work in the store. Well, I get a phone call, probably because of my size. They says, hey, we got this big giant, this fat guy. He could lift up the Acoustiface speakers when unloading the trucks. I get a call from Crazy Eddie, and they says, well, we're looking for a warehouseman. I jumped at the chance. And the key is that when I got out, I worked there like about 2 years, and I got out right before they went public. And I remember my supervisor, when I had to, when I did get let go. Let's put it that way, okay? I got let go.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. One of the few times I got let go in my life, but I still loved it. Imagine this. It was such a great job and such a great place to work that even getting fired doesn't bother me. I love the place. But my supervisor told me, you got to get let go. We're about to have a profit sharing plan. We're all going to get $10,000 in the profit sharing plan when it goes public. And now you have to, whatever. I called, what happened? I called in sick too many times. I was burning the candle at both ends, Robert. I was hanging out with Gymnasium. And to hang out with Gymnasium and do pirate radio, you got to stay up all night. You got to stay up till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I can't be at my job at 6 a.m. if I'm first getting off the air at 4 a.m. So that's why I got let go, because I would call in sick all the time. I'm not going to make it today. He says, you didn't make it the past 3 days. You're fired. But anyway.
No, you were let go.
I was let go. But yeah, and then still, even though I was fired, I knew the secret code. So anything in any Crazy Eddie store, I could look at the little sticker, and I knew the in-house code of what the lowest price they would give you. It was called the C-line. So yeah, I knew how to calculate. So let's just say when it came to the TIAC that we wanted, I looked at the sticker, and I knew the C-line was $714. That's the lowest they could go. And that's the price I was fighting for. Remember this, Jim? We were fighting for that price, and I'd say, nope, you got to give it to me for $714.
Do you know how much we paid for that?
Well, tell me, because I'm just making that up. I'm rounding it off.
$650.
$650. Right. I think $715 was the most. I can't go lower than $715, fellas. So we came back week after week, and I'm battling with the guy, and I'm not telling him that I know. And I'm not saying, listen, I worked 6 months ago. I worked here. I'm not telling him this. I don't want him to know how I know.
Right.
But I keep pushing the C line. I go, nope, because we did find it in a catalog.
We found it. He says they will beat any advertised price.
Right, that was their thing. They'll beat any advertised price. So every time we brought them the advertised price, it was like a place.
I have that ad in my brain. Shop around, get the best prices you can find,
and we'll beat them. And I kept saying that you have to beat it. So the manager would come over and say, no, it's got to be national. This is just North Carolina. It's got to be national. And I says, but that's not what the commercial says. Come on, fellas. The commercial says any advertised price.
Yeah.
No, I can't do it. I says, no, you got to give it to us for $650. $650. And I knew they could because I could see the code on the sticker. And I showed Jim. I said, Jim, look at this. Divide by 6, add 5. Look, $650. And guess what? Guess who was victorious, Robert? Guess who was victorious? Hank and Jim were victorious.
And did you have any idea when you were working there that they were cooking the books?
Absolutely not. No, we didn't. I did know that they were pushing this brand of speakers, Acoustiphase, because Jim bought them. So they would get you in. They would lure you in with the JBLs, because the JBLs were really good at the time.
Those are the ones I wanted.
So you wanted the JBL. Do you remember the model you wanted?
Yes, the L. What was it?
Not the L150. That was the Tower. Was the L150? I think
L500 was it? No, it was the Century 100s.
Century 100s. Oh, Robert, at the time we thought they were the best sounding speakers you could buy.
They make them today. That's how good they were. They brought them back today, but they're thousands of dollars.
And they had them on display at Crazy Eddie, and we'd go and listen to it. And when Jim got a hold of a little bit of cash, and what was the price, Jim? How far off were you from being able to buy the JBL?
About $100, $120.
Right.
I just didn't have it.
They wouldn't budge, but they kept pushing. No matter what you did, they'd say, well, and it didn't matter. We'd go in time and time again, and the same thing would happen. And they'd say, well, you're looking for the JBLs? Well, those are X number of dollars. Well, I don't have that much. Can I get a little break? I'll tell you what, I got a speaker just as good. Remember? That every salesman would have the same pitch. Well, I got speakers that are just as good. They're just as good. And it was Acoustiphase. So I remember when I was working there, afterwards, every time the truck would come in and I would unload 1,000 Acoustiphase.
Right.
Phase 3. What was it? Acoustiphase Stereo Phase 3.
That was the model. I got the top of the line.
And I would just laugh, but you know that they had, and the warehouseman, the supervisor would tell us, well, there's certain companies that we have a deal with, like the uncle is.
Have you ever read the book Retail Gangster?
I haven't. I really should.
I think you would just inhale that book because it is fascinating story. So,
well, listen, don't forget, you're going to get in touch. Let us know ahead of time when you're heading this way.
Yeah, I just talked to him a couple of weeks ago when we were in New York, but I will, when I tweeted out your show and I CC'd him, and so he might light a light bulb in his head. I just found a pile of letters, like handwritten letters, that you wrote for who was J.K. Superstar?
That was maybe J.K. Superstar wrote a letter for a while. That was yet another character.
Okay, so I found these handwritten letters. I'll scan them in right now.
Okay.
I might text you for an email address so I can email them to you. I guess you can if I PDF attached to the cell number. Would you get it?
Absolutely, yes.
Should I? Okay.
And I'm going to text you my email address as we speak.
Office. And you'll see these letters that you sent me, which for some weird reason I still have, and I will. So it might bring back some memories for you.
Please do. I just texted
you.
I texted you my address also. I'd love to see that.
Okay.
And we're going to get into J.K. Superstar. He's another character that's coming up. So he was another
Yeah,
person.
I don't even remember J.K. Superstar, but this letter is dated October 23rd, 1978, and you wrote. I guess it's you. I don't know. A 2-page letter.
That sounds like me, Robert, because I was telling you last time you called when I was called for jury duty after we got busted, and I would go in with all people like you were the top of the list.
Yeah.
That on the WFAT on the mailing list, and I says I gotta communicate with these people, and I would write letters because at jury duty there was nothing else to do. I said, I'm gonna have so much time.
Right.
I'm locked in the room. There's no television. There's no radio. So I wrote you the whole story. I poured my little heart out. Giving you an update of what's going on.
You didn't go in vain because I still have the letter. So
I love it. I love it. This is fantastic, Robert. Absolutely.
Yeah. I didn't just toss them out. I saved them because I saw all the care and love that went into them. It was appreciated.
No, it's absolutely true.
No other radio station. You think Harry Harrison cares about his fans?
Couldn't care less.
Brucey? Yeah.
As nice a guy as I think Cousin Brucey is, he's not writing 2-page letters individualized to his individual fans.
No, I have nothing against them either. They were wonderful, but it was a whole different level of personal service with WFAT.
All right, Robert. Looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to more fun in the future.
Yeah, I'll
scan
them in right now. I gotta scan these like on the flatbed because they'll fall apart if I put them through the sheet scanner.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and we'll talk to you soon, Robert. All right, bye-bye. Man, Jim, that's what it's all about right there. That's what it's all about, Jim. If you ever wondered what it's all about, that is what it's all about.
I said $18.
All right, that is what it's all about.
It's all about. Oh, I do remember what the salesman, when he finally gave in and sold it to us for $6.50, he says, we're not making any money on this.
Right.
Not making any, it's like.
Yeah. That took a while. We were dedicated.
Yeah, that would bother me so much if they didn't make any money on it. I feel bad.
And by the way, the manager, I want you to know, the manager could go below C line.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of room. I mean, I found this out. They says in certain cases, 100%. First of all, the manager had to approve C line, and there was certain conditions where the manager could say, okay. So even C-Line, because C-Line means they're making the minimum profit they want to make. You understand? So C-Line, they're making a profit. So that he was, when he told us that, I was like, yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. And we walked out of that place with the TIAC 4-channel reel-to-reel recorder. We were very happy. We were happy.
That was a great machine.
His Gymnasium in his happy days. Jim, you're happy there, right?
Look at
that.
Yeah,
I'm happy. You got the Elvis sideburns going.
Yeah. With the mustache, the porn star mustache.
Gymnasium with the Elvis sideburns.
And I had hair.
Yes.
A full head of hair.
Yes.
Something I wasn't thinking that far ahead. This is, you're not going to have that hair when you're older.
Well, it's all right because you certainly got a lot of pictures of the hair. Okay.
Always good to have pictures of my hair.
And just one last thing before we go. Here's a quick picture of Tom Leykis. There he is. That is Tom Leykis at the time. Speaking of hair, Tom Leykis at the time in his Yes, It's Me t-shirt. And this is right around that time that he got us on...
No Holds Barred.
No Holds Barred on the CBS. Howard, it was the Columbia Broadcasting System, and it was indeed a television network spectacular.
Before I call the president of the radio network.
All right, one last chance to get in and talk and say a few words, whatever you want to do with Hank and Jim. We're going to wrap up episode 9, Gymnasium.
Number 9?
The Pirate Radio Guy podcast.
You know what happens if you say number 9 backwards? If you play it backwards, it comes out as Hank and Jim. Hank and Jim.
Oh, we could try that one day.
It's true.
So there it is. We have lived in real time. WCPR, 1620 AM. And so now what's going to happen in coming days, well, let's think about just real quick, like you were saying before, that after they left, the FCC left, and we called Randall, gave him the bad news, and then we were bummed because...
when all the dust settled, like the next Friday came, we were like depressed,
we had spent years trying to get and building up to having a broadcast station. We were doing production, we were doing songs, right? Multi-track songs, sound-on-sound recordings, you know. And but once we had the goal of broadcasting, that was all-encompassing. And now it came down to a crashing halt. It was over. So we had to fill that void. You know, we weren't sitting there saying, what are we going to fill the void with? It's just things that happen naturally. So the next week, the following Friday, God knows what we're going to do. We're certainly not enthusiastic about recording any kind of production because it was like a pall, P-A-L-L. A pall had fallen over like a shroud of depression. Because no matter what you do, if you're recording a song, and what are you going to do when the song is over? You're going to listen to it again. It's like a major step backwards. This is what we were doing years before, you know? And
it's like
what are we going to
say? A network television spectacular, and then all of a sudden, you lost it. It was taken away from you.
Right, and it's not like we were... I mean, this happens to DJs and let's say radio teams. They get let go from one station. Well, they go find another station. We didn't have another station to find. If there was going to be another station at that time, it was going to be in your bedroom or my bedroom. So there are many stories to come of what happened after we got busted and what are the other things that we did. And that is where we will end this edition of the Pirate Radio Guy podcast. And we want to thank everybody for calling in. We want to thank everybody for checking us out.
And listening and watching and listening.
And of course, we are on our flagship, Vaughn.live/Hank and Jim. But we are also on YouTube. If you wouldn't mind, everybody, if you enjoy this at all, if you get 1 ounce of enjoyment out of this podcast, if you would go to YouTube and like and subscribe, right? Like and subscribe. The Pirate Radio Guy on YouTube. Because...
And
we
like
are
us
so
here
close.
Here too. Hit the like button if you.
Of course, hit the like button on. Yeah, that goes without saying.
Yeah, on Vaughn.
Come to Vaughn, hit the like button, and subscribe. On YouTube, we are so close. We are like 40 subscribers away from hitting a major milestone. A milestone is 1,000. We have like 960. If we can hit 1,000, it's like the stock market going above 1,000. We all go wowee.
Sir, I don't bet with a loser.
I want to go wowee, John. I want to get 1,000 followers on YouTube as well as on Vaughn.
What an ignorant person you are, sir.
I'm sorry you think that way. I'm very sorry. But that would be so nice. And tell your friends to go to YouTube and go to Vaughn and like the Pirate Radio Guy on YouTube and like Hank and Jim on Vaughn. All right, we'll be live again next Sunday at 6 p.m. Gymnasium.
At 5 Central.
This is Hank Hayes.
This station.
Gymnasium, Hank Hayes, CPR. It's over. The FCC has come. They have taken us down. But we'll see you next time, folks. Bye, everybody.
Pirate Radio.
Dials at 1620 WCPR.
This is the Federal Communications Commission. We've been listening to the nonsense you've been doing on the air. We know who you are. We're going to get you. I advise you get off the air.
You're watching XETV Fox 6 San Diego. Our transmitter is located on Mount San Antonio, Baja, California, serving San Diego and Tijuana. XETV Channel 6 transmits on...
Well, we hope you've enjoyed tonight's entertainment here on Network 2. Tomorrow night's lineup looks good too, with Family Ties at 8, followed by Cheers, then LA Law at 9. Have a good week. This is Kent Robertson wishing you a very good night.
yes.